Today on Divorce Court.
I'm here today because I need to divorce a woman that I love.
When I first met Kurt, my family and I were under a federal indictment.
The connection to Kimberly was instantaneous, and I happily married her and inadvertently married her family as well.
Kurt has been very supportive with me discovering I'm a lesbian.
Kimberly and I may not be together, but we're inseparable.
Divorce Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Kurt Crandell and Kimberly Crandell. The two of you have been together for 5 years and married for 5 years. You do not have any children together, correct?
No, Your
correct.
Honor.
Mr. Crandell, why don't you tell me a little bit about your history and why you're here today, because it's a fascinating story.
I appreciate that. I am here today because I have the unfortunate task of divorcing a woman that I love greatly.
And what brought you to this?
Yeah, I met Kimberly back in 2012. She was actually involved with the family that owned a business that my ex was actually employed at. I met Kimberly at the salon that her family owned, where my ex-girlfriend actually worked. We didn't really have much interaction. You know, I buy stuff for my girlfriend's business or, you know, for her job, and I get reimbursed by Kimberly. But I knew more of the family prior to actually meeting Kimberly, because as my girlfriend at the time was getting ready to take the position, you know, she brings me this idea that she's got this job and she's explaining to me the benefits of it. And then she explains the family and their connections to certain 1% motorcycle clubs. And, you know, they're in a small town in Alaska, but they own a smoke shop and they own a liquor store and they own a salon, and it was like, wait a minute, okay, hold up, what? You know, they, a little teeny town.
And they own,
right, and they own all these businesses, and they're involved in this motorcycle club that, you know, they make documentaries about, and, you know, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm seeing some red flags here.
Right.
You know, this seems like a wise, you know, move maybe would be to stay away from this family entirely. So when I met her with a whole pack of Asians. I mean, literally, there was a whole bunch of good-looking Asian women running around. I didn't know who was related to who. And, you know, I saw the girl in the white Beamer is how I referred to Kimberly. Whenever I'd see her, I was like, dang, that girl is hot, you know.
Right.
I was in a relationship, so I'm a gentleman. I didn't pursue it. But I found reasons to get reimbursement, that's for sure. I'd go over and say hi, you know. And,
You did.
Yeah, so while my ex was working there, she, the whole family got under federal indictment. They actually, I have some paperwork kind of explaining.
Oh, well, yeah, let me see what...
Yeah. Yep, thank you. Oh, you want the whole folder?
Keep talking.
Not a problem. So when the indictment happened, my employer, which was also my ex-girlfriend's employer, basically told her, you have a choice. You either work for them or you work for us. We can't have our employee involved in any of that.
Yeah.
And so she quit working there, and so I quit having any contact with the family. I quit having any contact, of course, with Kimberly at that point as well. Upon breaking up with my ex, I actually put up a dating profile thing on an online whatever, and just to get closure with her so she could see it and know that I was moved on. And I didn't care about it, you know.
Right.
Kimberly actually messaged me, you know, and I'm like, all right, how you doing, you know?
Right,
Little Asian girl sending me a message, and so just getting to know her. You know, I asked about where she's from and what she does, and when she told me she was a manager of a smoke shop and a salon.
You knew it was her.
I was like, oh,
you knew it was the woman in the white
I was like, are you related to this person? And she's like, oh, okay, so you know my family. And I was like, yeah, you know. And
I understand that you got married. I am going to talk to you, really I am. I've been just trying to get the backstory from him. I understand that you got married fairly quickly after you got involved. Explain to me why that happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Our first date, I took her to Hope, Alaska. A friend of mine's band was playing, and I asked her if she wanted to visit with, you know, and she said yes. Once I let her know she'd have her own room to sleep in, you know, and we were just gonna go as friends. And that trip, something happened I never expected. You know, it wasn't just a companion, you know, riding down to Hope, Alaska with me. I found somebody that I never thought I'd find. I mean, it was almost weird, really. And we just clicked in a way I've never clicked with another human being in my entire life. You know, I'm 36 years old, you know, I'm not a spring chicken.
Kid,
you know, no puppy dog love here. And so we got back from Hope, and it was a good weekend. We had fun. She's explaining to me her concerns, you know, on this. We had a whole weekend to drive around, and she's, you know, explaining to me her fears and what's going on. And
with the indictment and the family and
everything.
The feds are after
she's bringing me up to speed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay.
And it was about, I was just so everybody's clear, it was about cigarettes and taxes, not about dope or anything like that. Cigarettes and taxes, but go ahead.
Thank you. And so after, I mean, literally from that day, we have been inseparable from that first date.
So how long between that first date and the two of you actually got married?
1 month to the day.
1 month. Explain to me why you got married so quickly. I'm gonna ask her for a moment. Mrs. Crandell, why did you get married so quickly?
For the indictment, I needed help. I was extremely scared. Like, I had no idea what to do. And so he's a friend of the family. Everybody knows who he is. And certain family members suggested that if we got married, he can help me.
Okay, wait. Can we hold up and one little tip throw out there right quick?
Right? What'd she miss?
She brought to me that her family was asking some questions. How much money I made.
Oh my God.
What kind of car I drove. How my credit was.
That's my family.
Then they recommended we get married.
Oh, so they saw that you were pretty liquid over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask, given all of that, why did you marry her? Because you knew her family was snooping around for cash. You loved her, you knew her, but it was just a month. Why weren't you a little scared?
I've been self-employed since I was in elementary school. Entrepreneur, and I see things in people. And when I find something special, I don't let it go.
Right.
I saw something special.
And that 30 days didn't bother you?
No.
Once he moved in, what were things like while he was in the house? Because that's a hard thing to move into your spouse's family's house.
Well, what had actually happened at that time, because of my job for the financial institution, I had to be in Anchorage, where her family all lived in Wasilla. And so that was actually the precursor to the beginning of the storm, we could call it. That's when the drama ensued. Her put a house in Kimberly's name that was like a condo, an investment property, and they had let her live in that condo, but he wasn't paying the bills. So she was about to get a foreclosure on said condo. She also had another condo that was in a different town that she wasn't even living in, that was paid for, that was just sitting there empty because she was living with her mom.
All right, so I see the coming storm, and it's going to be raining money in a minute, and I want to talk about that storm and whose money got rained on.
So I got a call from my family member. This family member told me to stay upstairs. He's like, just stay upstairs and let him open the door. I'm like, but why? Because I'm sending some people over there. I'm like,
my understanding is, Mr. Crandell, basically, they ruined you financially.
Most definitely. Right.
Tell me briefly just how much they took and how it happened.
Yeah, when I met Kimberly, working at the financial institution, you know, if I needed more money or whatnot, car loan, I just called the bank because I knew them.
Right.
You know, oh, okay, how much more do you need? How much more do you want? You know, I had perfect credit. I had a brand new car, brand new motorcycle, a nice house.
You had like an 800 credit score.
I did, yeah.
I noticed things like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice number.
It is. Yeah, it was.
it was.
It was.
Yeah, it felt good.
So tell me how the money leaked out.
The businesses were struggling. And so I was taking more time off of work to go help. You know, I started putting stuff on my credit cards when it was needed and wasn't getting reimbursed no more. And so I maxed out my credit cards. I actually called into the bank. They doubled my credit and then maxed that out. And finally I was like, yeah, I see where that's going. I'm not doing that twice.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was downhill real quick.
You ultimately ended up having to file bankruptcy, yes?
I did, yes.
From 800 credit score to bankruptcy. How long did that take?
Not long.
Mr. Crandell, I gotta say this about you. It's a good-looking man and the calmest individual I ever met. Somebody take that much of my money, you know, they'd still have me in handcuffs. You have such a positive spirit. I enjoy it greatly. Ms. Crandell, I like you too.
Thank you.
What did you think was happening? Were you upset that things were raining down on Mr. Crandell like that? Were there any arguments with your family about what they were putting the two of you through?
There was a lot of hostility, I can tell you that. I was angry, and there are times where I had family members threaten or even try to, I don't know the term, come beat him up. And so it's...
Why? He's giving them money.
No, I wouldn't give him money. I put my foot down.
You put the brakes on it. Then once you put the brakes on it, they they threatened to beat you up.
Right. Well, what had happened is that condo that was in Anchorage, I
Right.
had told them he needs to leave. It's getting foreclosed upon. We're going to move into that. We're going to save it. We're going to rent out the Wasilla condo so we have income to pay the mortgage on the one that's shutting down, et cetera. Had a whole plan.
Right, yeah.
After we moved in, her family forced her to give that other condo to the same that lost the first condo. And I lost that battle because I was nobody of any importance.
You were
Who
just...
am I? I'm the guy paying the bills, but whatevs. And, so yeah.
You were the bank. They had no feelings for you.
But not only did he take the second condo, which also ended up in foreclosure, by the way. Yeah, Kim, why don't you tell him about a phone call you got in the middle of the night?
So I got a call from my family member, and so we were talking, and this family member told me to stay upstairs, but let Kurt open the door. And so I was like, why? Like, why would I do that? He's like, just stay upstairs and let him open the door. I'm like, but why? Because I'm sending some people over there. I'm like, honestly, I didn't know what to say because I'm shocked. Because, like, what?
She did the right thing. She told me about it.
I told him about it.
Gave me a heads up.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't send him downstairs.
Thank you.
I don't get it, you know? Because
That's actually when I started an affiliation with that 1% motorcycle club that I had told you about. I made a phone call.
Because you need some backup.
Right, legit, yeah. So I made a phone call and I had people posted close that were watching our back.
Holy moly. So what happened ultimately to the indictment? I mean, you didn't have to go to prison. How did that resolve itself?
I did
Real
not go to
quick, talk
prison.
about how scared you were about
Oh my
going to
gosh,
prison.
I was so scared. I was literally so scared that
every morning she would paint on her eyebrows
Yes,
and her eyeliner because Koreans, I guess, don't have eyebrows. I don't know.
Asians.
But, whatever.
We like to color them in.
Right. So
Well, I don't think that's an Asian thing. We're gonna get mail from the. I get where you're going. I'm gonna find out how that thing concluded and where you guys are now because something has taken another really dramatic turn. What did you ask him to do?
I have trouble picking up women, so I was
Did you do it?
Oh yeah.
He did it for me. Yeah.
Would you ruin your credit score to help your partner's family? Tell us what you think at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. So, Mrs. Crandell, what ended up happening with the federal indictment? You didn't go to prison, did you?
No, I did not go to prison. Everyone else did, but I got probation.
You got probation.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. It's interesting, though, that your response to the possibility of going to prison was to tattoo eyebrows on. I'm just going to say that. That's interesting.
Tattoo
I know
eyebrows
you
and
can't
my
have
eyeliner.
makeup in there, but I just think that's interesting. Mr. Crandell, you made an observation about your wife that has made you believe that though you love her dearly, divorce is necessary. Tell me what that observation is.
Yeah, the observation that I guess we could say stumbled upon shortly after us moving in together, I guess we could say red flags started coming up. And it started becoming rather apparent to me that Kimberly has, I guess we could say, struggled with or questioned her sexual identity. And she has had fantasies, desires for women her entire life, and that she was pursuing men based out of pressure from her family.
Mm-hmm. Hence the makeup before going to prison.
Yes. Since I was young, I had vivid dreams and attraction to women.
Do you think that you're bisexual, or do you think that you're clearly a lesbian and that is clearly where you want to be?
I'm a lesbian, and that is where I want to be.
Right.
Yep.
How did the conversation? Did you talk about it, and how did that conversation go?
Yeah, the first conversation was ridiculous. She wakes up and she's like, "Oh, so I had a dream last night." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she starts describing this sex dream about her and another girl, and I'm like, "Oh, dang." And I'm like, "Have you ever had a dream about a dude like that?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Have you ever had these dreams before?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, like forever."
All time.
Okay, so it just seemed obvious, like right out the gate.
How did you two address this thing in the beginning?
In the beginning, it sounded like a horrible, horrible thing was about to happen. She wanted to start dating women, and she wanted me to help her do that, and I saw a whole lot of bad things coming.
I put him in an odd spot.
Yeah.
I put him in a very odd spot.
What did you ask him to do?
Flirt with women.
And bring them home for you.
Because I don't know how to like
pick up women.
pick up women. I have trouble picking up women, so I'll send
Did
him
you
out.
do it?
Oh, yeah.
He did it for me, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
No, you're good.
Did she let you play too?
Yes. But then I got in trouble for playing too.
Well, you got mad at him for having fun with the women that he brought home for you?
So I did in the beginning because it was really hard
In the
for
beginning,
me.
nothing. Yesterday. Last night.
We didn't play with women.
I know,
last
but I was
night.
texting girls off Tinder and she got salty.
Or did you get salty?
A little. I don't want to let him go, you know, because he's different. It's a connection that we have that I've never had.
I'm glad you said that.
With
You two
anyone.
obviously really love each other.
Yeah.
You two obviously get along very well, something I don't. But you are committed to the divorce. Why?
When I married her originally, there was a federal indictment, there was family issues. You know, I needed to help her stand, I needed to prop her up. And now, her being married to me has become a crutch that's holding her back.
Are you on board with that?
I am.
Let me say what I gotta say. What would you do if your spouse now wanted a same-sex relationship? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back. If I could pull it off, I would take you on the road with me. And we would call it like how to be a righteous dude. Because you are a righteous dude.
Yeah. He is.
Righteous. And then you're fine too. This is just
Yes, he is.
you got it all. I don't think I've ever liked a couple in here more than I like the two of you. You are a beautiful woman.
Thank
You are an intelligent woman. I think your family did you dirty, but you got a great guy. You got a good guy picker. Even though guys aren't what you want, it's still, if you picked one, you got a great one. He loves you intensely, and I think that you're always going to love and care about one another.
Yep.
You said something interesting to my people. You said, once I find a woman to be with, and once he finds a woman to be with, they're both going to have to understand that you two will always be committed to committed to one another. And then my people asked you, what if your respective spouses don't like it? And then you said, then they're not the right people for us.
Correct.
That's just some deep stuff right there. I ain't got nothing to fuss at you about. I got no advice for you. I think you're intelligent. I think you're well-directed. I think you're kind. I think you're caring. I think you could write a book about how to get it done because you're really wonderful. I hope your credit score has gone back up. It's gonna take a minute, but you don't seem angry about it, which is like, what are you gonna do? You know, you've got the emotional makeup of a glacier. I just love it. And all I can do is wish you both the best of luck. This matter is adjourned.
You said something to the producers that I liked, and you said if you do get married and want to have children, you said you would actually be the sperm donor.
That was
Yes.
the request made, and I agreed and accepted.
Wow. Wow.